3 years ago, after 3 years after the Boston Marathon bombing, one of my classmates decided to train for the 2016 event, which required months of intense cardio and endurance training. A few weeks into her training, she commenced a 5 a.m. run through the Harvard Square in Cambridge with an awkward headlamp strapped around her forehead. As she moderated her pace and monitored her breathing patterns, her peripheral vision caught a glimpse of a figure to her right. Assuming something was on the approach, she slowed her gait and looked over her right shoulder only to see that nothing was there. She meticulously, in the heat of the night, as before the sun rose, she meticulously advanced her run, though continually interrupted by jolting images and menacing sensations. As she ran, something over her right shoulder kept indicating that something was behind her. She ultimately realized that a shadow was distracting her attention, increasing in size the more she ran. Alone in the dark, with a growing shadow, she figured something was trailing behind her. She kept on running, and the farther she went, the larger the shadow became. In the dark, all by herself, with that awkward headlamp on, choked by fear, she stumbled to a halt and looked back, seeing and hearing nothing. Though she assumed a person followed behind her, the quality of the light on the street cast a silhouette of a fire hydrant. What she thought was a person that shook her into fear, what she thought was a person that interrupted her run, what she thought was a person that discontinued her training was really just the shadow of a fire hydrant. A shadow of a fire hydrant shook her, stopped her, and stupefied her. And I thought about this as I came to this text today. How many of us have been spooked by shadows? Isn't that what the text says? That the text says that in your King James Version, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. We read this text and these words, they evoke memories and conjure thinking about the lurking of death. When we read this text, we focus more on the death part than we do the shadow part, because the text is not saying that death was lurking. It was not a valley of death, but it was a valley of the shadow of death. And that had me thinking, how many of us have lost sight of what God is leading us to because we've been fixated on shadows? How many of us have been scared out of our futures and have been stymied out of our progress because we have been shook by shadows? When you read this text soberly, you will find out that it was not death that was lurking, but it was the shadow of death, according to the poetic words of the writer. Do not forget that shadows are not physical things, but they are a phenomenon created by the interplay between light, darkness, and an object. Shadows are impermanent, fluctuating presumptions that arouse cautiousness when the moment necessitates courageous confrontation. And that's what I really want to bring into the sanctuary today as my first move is that our pews are overrun with people who suffer from the fear of shadows, people who are afraid of the unknown and the unseen, people who run from shadows, run from the appearance of trouble, run from the perception of defeat, run from the assumptions of pain, run from the semblance of difficulty, run because of your thinking about a situation. And maybe this is a good year for us to be honest about the fact that the stuff we've been running from are not realities, but shadows that we have given meaning and given power and given idea. Am I talking to anybody in here today that's ever been scared of stuff that's never been there? You've allowed yourself to discontinue your way forward because of what you thought might happen or what you thought might show up. But I came to Fountain this morning to declare declare I refuse to be spooked by shadows because my God is too great and my God is too strong for me to run from stuff that's not really there. Am I talking to anybody today? I wish I can get some witnesses in the sanctuary that can look back over your life and how you've allowed shadows to disrupt your faith, how you've allowed shadows to rob you of your courage, how you've allowed shadows to disabuse you of the strength that's embedded in who you are. Can I ask you the question another way? What shadows have stuttered your stride and muted your motivations? What shadows have depressed your diligence and eroded your energies? I need somebody in this church today that can declare the shadow of death is never long enough. It's never chilling enough for me to stop in my tracks, because every valley I've been called to go through is a valley I've been called to go through, and too many unsuspecting, otherwise promising lives have stalled out in low places because of shadows. Can I come back there again? Anybody ever trapped yourself in a low place because of shadows? Come on, don't act like you don't know some low places. There's some people who were low places. There were jobs that were low places. There were some dreams that weren't really dreams that were imposed on you that were low places. But I'm declaring today, because God is with me, I will not stall out in low places. I will not stop my strides in the valleys that are more shadows than they are death. That's what the text teaches us today, that you have to be careful of how you respond to shadows, because shadows deflated your dreams. Shadows drove you to toxic comforts. Shadows disabused you of your tenacity. Shadows overrode your opportunities. Shadows piqued your relational distrust. Do not shake, do not bow, do not cower, do not defect because of shadows. Because if the Lord is your shepherd, then shadows should never be able to lead you anywhere. I feel like I came to church on this August Sunday all by myself. I just declared, if the Lord is your shepherd, then you shouldn't be led by anything other than the Lord that gives you strength, that gives you power, that gives you authority, that gives you a new lease on life. Can I get 5 people in the sanctuary today that can say, my shadow can't lead me anywhere because I've been created in the image of an ever-living, ever-loving, ever-present, ever creative God, and I will not run from shadows. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil. I know too many people who've given up on dreams because of shadows. I know too many people who've talked themselves out of their highest manifestations because of shadows. I know too many people who've walked away from the Lord because of shadows. But if the Lord is your shepherd and you shall not want, you ought to look at shadows and dare them to stay in your way. Because the last time I checked, shadows don't have power. Shadows don't have a future. Shadows don't have authority. Shadows have not been created in the image of God. I need somebody in the house today that can say, I'm not afraid of shadows.
Look here, everybody.